always discover, hey, how you doing? It's another fine day. Now, I just want to see how you've been feeling. Have you noticed people trying to get you off your path? Are you at that level of understanding, of recognizing, of making sure things are detailed in a way that it becomes evident that they're trying to control everything that you do? Maybe even take away the very thing that you created to help you along the way. Maybe even mess with your reputation secretly, possibly having people believe that you have a childlike character or behavior, that there's something going on up there. Have you noticed that? Well, that is part of trying to take you off your path. That is trying to make sure that you are somewhere else than where you need to be, which is focused. Now, I'm coming to you because I say that I have the ability to know things sooner than when it's going to happen. And that's your instincts that grow over time. And the growth period happens when you begin to pay attention to your surroundings. But you cannot pay attention to your surroundings if you are with others. You cannot have that attention drive on you because it's on you and others. So that's why it's very important that you be solo by yourself on your walk, from getting from one place to another. Because you're always going to have unfortunate competition. And it's always going to be somebody who heard something about you, somebody who doesn't like you, somebody who think you're not worthy of the project that is coming your way. And you're going to begin to recognize certain things. And they're going to even get to the point to even bring people that wherever you are with certain people, that's right. Sometimes when you're in a gathering, you see that most people who take the presence of a room, they come alone, solo. They usually don't show up with anyone, but all attention is on them. You are that individual. But the people who are trying to take that attention off of you in some type of way, and the way is where if I do not pay attention to what's going on around me, and these are the facts that are shown, and act like I am unaware, and at some point, guess what? You probably complained, but then you learned that complaining doesn't work because this person obviously is not alone. This group of people secretly, about 70% or 60% of them is agreeing with the individual, sometimes 90, depending upon the project that you are on, the project in life that is destined for you. A lot of people, because they get at a certain age or a certain time frame, where things changes for them, they begin to take on different projects in life because you can be trusted with that project. Because they know that if I give this project to you, that you're not going to try to hinder anyone in any way, shape, or form that's not going to allow them to grow. Because in you, you are a growing person inside. And what is ever in the inside will want it to grow on the outside. So you want to see people grow. But everybody isn't like that. And you're going to come across people that you've been certain places and you help people grow to a certain point in their life. Now, not everybody agreed to the growth. Secretly, they went the other way. But there were some that did agree. And those are the ones that's going to grow in a positive way, because you can only get positive out of that growth because what you bring is positive. You may have been in places that seem to be negative to others, but you knew it was not going to stay on you because you're too positive inside. And so the growth that you bring to the table can only be positive. Even though you look a certain way, either by dress or your attitude or how you handle matters. Not everybody handle matters the same. And some people will take it and say, oh, she ain't gonna say nothing, she just gonna let you, she's passive, she's a passive person. Know what passive is. Passive, if you're being passive, you're allowing anything to happen. They may assume you're passive, but you're not. You just take it in because you already know, and you're trying to figure out how I'm going to handle this individual. Not that I'm passive, you're going to let them do what they do, but you already know the fight that you have in order to be above what this individual is trying to do to you, trying to make you look like you are incapable when you are very much so capable. You just don't do it like they do it. But it doesn't mean you are incapable of doing it. So the growth that you have in you is knowing, and you get better with it, knowing that they may think I'm allowing this to get away with what's going on, or they get away with what's going on. But it's not. I just have to make sure when I handle the matter, when I take care of it, it's a shut deal. It's handled at that particular time and moment that I decide to handle it. But you're going to find the best strategy to handle the situation. Now, let me give you an example. People may think you're passive. You're going to lunch, and everybody go get a lunch tray. But it is two people that pass you every time. They're new. They're passing you every time. And they're looking at you, but you have a kind nature. You let them pass the first time because they're new. I'll let you pass, because I want to show you a warmth welcome. We're kind here. We're nice. You don't have any issues. Come on, get in front. So that's fine. So you allow them to get up front. Now, every time, they're going to want to get up front. And that's fine. That's dandy. But there comes a time where you have to be like, hold on, I allowed you to get up front, but now you have to learn which each work policy or each person that is in a group, we have a respectable policy, which means we all come down at a certain time. We get online. First come, first serve. Now, how are you going to introduce that to that person? Well, my best way would to be to have a discussion at a group meeting. When you have your meeting, you all sit down and discuss things and let them figure it out. And then the next time, if they come down to lunch and they jump in front, all you have to say, do you remember that meeting we had? Well, I was the one that suggested that. So it's not being directed to them, but everyone can be aware of the situation at one time. Because the first time that you allow them to get on, you already let them know, I'm welcoming you in. And, come on front line for the first time and enjoy yourself at the front. And you explain to them where they get the food, where they pick up the drinks, where they get the forks. That's why you allow them the first time. It's just common courtesy, which is a natural thing that can take place in any uniform. But if you are a person of character, of true character, you're going to do the truth. What is truth to what needs to be done? You know that you need to follow the line. You need to follow what every command is given at this particular business, at this particular school, at this particular solo self-employment situation. So with that in tact, you will understand that, these people probably think I'm passive. And then I will let them know again, because the first time you already introduced, you told them why you was letting them online, because nobody seemed to want to pay attention to them. And they was looking inquisitively at everything as they entered the room. And you got their attention and you made sure you brought them in the right way, letting them feel the warmth of the company, of the self-employment, of the school. Another scenario, people are, every day you have to turn your books in. We say we at school or we at the job. And there's certain cases that you have to turn in. So there's 3 people who goes to each office and knock on a door and get whatever you have to turn in for the day. And they knocking on everybody's door. All of a sudden, they miss one day of knocking on your door because you wasn't there. You came late. But because you came late, it doesn't mean that they not supposed to do their job, which is collect what needs to be collected. And you didn't come too late. You came like half an hour late. The office is still running. It's not closed yet. You got another 2 hours before closing. But you're turning these cases in because the big boss wants to watch them over. In this case, he has to run back to the office and say, I need you to look at this again. Make sure that everybody is accommodated, that the job is done. And 3 people was picked to look at these cases. And they already knew, you already told them that I may be late. What do I need to do? And you say I may be late. They already know your routine. This particular day, every Wednesday, you go, you may come on time or you may be late. This particular time, they told everybody to put their cases out. I laid my cases out. They picked it up when I was late. But this particular time, I didn't know I was going to be late because I made sure I left early enough to get there on time, but I was still the same time late. They saw me, they looked at me, they were still doing what they had to do for everybody else picking up cases, but they tried to not pick up my case. And all of a sudden, they're not picking up none of my cases, but they're picking up everybody else's cases. And now they're talking to other people saying, oh, she ain't saying nothing about it. We're not going to pick up a case. They're making it a whole conversation about it. Where you at in the atmosphere, in the environment, because the atmosphere, it takes up, when I say the atmosphere, that's everything, but your environment is your environment. When the atmosphere can leave from one office to the next office, but your environment is your environment, your space. Now they have everybody in the office thinking that you don't care about it because you're not saying anything. So therefore, are you wrong? Or do you begin to question what these people are doing? And then you learn later on that somebody, one of them, two of them, really don't care about you. They act like they do, but they really don't. But you're not going to fuss and fight about that. You're taking it in and you're saying, wow, you can't believe this is something new to me. I can't believe that these people came just to get at me. But you will learn in life, things like this happen to what? To stop your progress, to break down your path. Because they got somebody else they already want to be in that path. And guess what? The choice is not you. So you have to be proactive. Now you have to think, oh, now they think I'm passive. I'm a passive person. But you're not passive at all. So you're trying to think about the situation. You always make sure the boss get the case, but it's not your job to do so. It's their job. Now you got to figure out how I'm going to get this done. You can go to the boss and let the boss know, or you can handle it yourself. So far, you're just making sure the boss get the case. Now you're going to speak to them because you're not a passive person. You just wanted to see how far they were going to go, or you trying to figure out their behavior. And once I figure out that you're trying to block my path, now I got to handle the situation because I'm not a passive person. I gave you opportunity. If I don't give you the opportunity to show who you are, to show that you are better than what you said I am, because the way you handle matter and making sure things are done will show me that you are better. But now that I see that I can't even trust the fact without even judging you, but trying to understand you. But now I see that you're thinking that I'm passive. Now you're in the office, you're talking about me as I'm a person who anybody can get over on. It may be passive to you, but it's a learning experience for me. So how I'm going to handle the situation. Because like anybody, you give anybody a chance. Nobody's a child here. But you say, I'm the child. By being passive. But I'm not passive. I'm giving you time to show me the adult in you. What will an adult do? They will do their job. You're on a job, you're supposed to do your job. I don't have to tell you your job. I'm giving you ample time to do your job. Because the boss already know I'm going to do mine. That's why he got my cases. So I'm looking at you and I'm saying to myself, okay, I see they think I'm passive. So I see I have to handle the situation differently now that they're making a mockery of me all out in the atmosphere. And it's going from one office to the next. Now everybody's looking at me to see how I'm going to handle the situation. But that should have never been done because the job before you came, it was peaceful. We follow routine. There's a book, and the book tells you how your job has to be done. And if you're not following it, but you're going to question me and say I'm passive, when it's you who actually isn't following the job. That's why I'm looking at you. I'm giving you time to show me who you are. because I'm the bigger person. Maybe you got something on your mind. Maybe something happened at home. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to give you time to figure it out. And when I see that it's just you just playing with me, now I have to address the situation. So I'm going to address you about it. So I'm going to make sure I'm there when you pass in the chair, waiting for you to pick up the case. And I'm going to have the door open. Now, if you don't pick up the case, now I can do something different. Now I can take you to the boss. But we never had to go that far. Now the boss is going to think, this is how people like to, I want to teach you how people start conflict around you, around your job, around your school. Now they're going to think that it's me. So now you're taking me out of position, and I have to sit in front of the boss with you, and they think I have something against you. But I was the one who welcomed you in with warmth. But I see you was able and learn. People will be able to turn everything around and have people looking at you. Now they put you in a position that your boss is trying to see how you're going to handle the situation. Well, it never should have been you. It should have been a person they designated to get the work done. These are the things you're going to learn. You have to observe. So this is why you are alone by yourself. Because there's going to be a team of people who's not for what you're for. And not anybody in any business, any school, any self-employment does things exactly the same. Everybody has a different approach. You can get it the good way, you can get it the bad way. Some people choose to get it the bad way. Let me make this person look like a certain, this is the number top leader at the job, everybody's looking all at you, now they're trying to make you look some type of way. Getting it the bad way. But you have to become aware that now you have to learn how to combat situations like that. To protect your reputation, protect what you're trying to do, the path you're trying to lead, the path you are leading. It's a simple task, but when I explain it to you, it will get you to better understand who should be looked at, rather than questioning, are you a passive individual? Because if you were passive, you never would have approached your boss about it. You never would have approached them about it. Passive, you just let it go on and 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 on. So don't become a passive individual. That's one thing. That's a learning tool for you. And pay attention. Sometimes you're going to have to take on the responsibility yourself for a minute, because at least if I take on the responsibility for myself for a minute, guess what? I can finally find out what's really going on. Because like I said, maybe there was a situation going on at home that was clouding what was going on between the two, or maybe the two had something going on, that maybe they didn't work good together. So let me figure it out. Let me sit back and examine things. Then let me just quickly jump and make a irrational decision about something that could be so simple and cause all this commotion when it's so simple. We're just passing one caseload, 3 or 4 or 5, down to where it needs to go. Simple. We don't have to write nothing. We don't have to read nothing. The work is done. We're just passing it on. But people can make your path complicated. And you have to pay attention to knowing that there's nothing wrong with you taking your time to figure out the situation. But you work it out to a point. and know that people are going to be looking at you more, but you strengthen what's in you in growth, knowing that it's positive, because what they're trying to do is bring the negative out in you. Then you get mad, then you get an attitude, well, why are you doing this? Why? Don't, no need for none of that. You're not going to break me down that easy. I'm not going to curse at you. I'm not going to yell at you because I know what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do these things. You were designated to do it. But you're trying to make me look some type of way. It was done for everybody before you got here. So why all of a sudden there's a change when you get here? Passive. You're not passive. That's what I want to tell you. You're not passive. You don't allow certain things to happen. If it never happened before, why is it happening now? Because you are the target. I'm trying to take something away from you. I'm trying to get something out of you other people don't see so I can take your position. So you're not passive. Take time, sit back, because that's what you do in growth. As you learn how to handle things. And when you see that now you're messing with my income. Now you're messing with my reputation. Oh, I'm not passive about that. You're not passive. I'm keep repeating it because you're not passive. But they will take you for being passive. The next thing is childlike. You go into the office, everybody got their office, self-employment office, their school, classroom. Everybody got a cubby. Everybody got a locker, right? Your locker, the kids may put a theme in a locker that they like, even in high school, college too. They may have little kitty shirt. That don't mean that they are a child. But some people will say, oh, they childish. You go in the office, she may have all pink, or little items around that show a children's attitude, mentality. Children toys. But those are toys that remind her that probably at one time in their life, they weren't able to purchase these toys. But now that I'm working, and it's just little items they have I can put around, I can afford it, I'm going to bring it to work with me. And that's okay, the boss allows that. But somebody may consider it as being what? Childish. Oh, that's a child over there. Look at them, all that little kitty stuff on their desk. But no, it's just, if you don't get to understand someone, you will never get to understand what's going on in them that is allowing them to grow. This is a plus for me. To be able to achieve in getting something I wasn't able to get when I was young. There's nothing wrong in that. In college, they do it all the time. College dorms, they be having all kinds of themes of when they were children in their college dorms. And they may take some of this to a business place. If they have their own business, it doesn't mean they are a child. It just depends on who you're dealing with. And you always, if you're professional, you're going to know what kind of office to have and where to have your themes. Some people may have it off in a corner. And you'd be like, oh, this is a collectible item. I'm pretty sure you heard of that before. It don't mean that they're childish about it. It's just something that they treasure. That's the innocence in a person. And whenever you find innocence in a person, know that the mind is also in that frame. There's nothing negative up here that you're trying to get out of me. You're going to see innocence. It's just going to derive. Whatever's inside of you is going to be on the outside. There's nothing childish about that. Just like Halloween time. Let's say you somewhere that you in a dorm room and you have your space and they have their space over here. So in your space, you place what you like for the holidays. Just in your space. That's your space. But other people may look at you and say, oh, that's so childish. What she's doing with that teddy bear. What she's doing with that clown mask. It's your space. It's your time. It doesn't change where you're at. This is you in your innocence coming out. Depending upon the holiday, what's going on. And if it's you, it's you. You have people that have, what's the famous one? Star Trek. I had a professor who was a Star Trek lover. He is a Star Trek lover. And if they have Star Trek items, everybody already know he or she loves Star Trek. So if I see it on the desk, if I see a starship on the desk, it's a value, of course. So it's probably going to be in a box. But if I see it, I already know this is her. She's not a child. But see, a lot of people they don't have that innocence in them that's instilled in them because a lot of people have been through so much or they haven't had the time to have a childhood. So they can't express themselves. They can't express what's inside of them on the outside without hurting anybody, without making you feel you're less of a person, you're less of an adult. So they watch your every move and they ready to pinpoint when they see something that look childish. But it's just the innocence in you. Yes, get ready to see my innocence. And I'm proud to have it. That's me, it hasn't been tinted by bad. I was able to enjoy life and to make it flower on the outside for others to see. A lot of people like when they see a collectible item or they see people express themselves, not just do their work habit, not just do the balance of money, but the balance of innocence that is on your path. And there's nothing wrong with it. They're going to question it every time because it's not in them. They soon as they got a certain age, they had to do this, do that, do this, go to school. Now you go to school, go to college. Now you go to college, you got to get a job. They never had a time to have a child, innocent life where they enjoy childish things. That one time in your life, now you're older, it become collectible items. Or I can show that side of me without losing me. It doesn't mean I all of a sudden went from an adult to a child. All it means all of a sudden you see the childlike of me. But it's how that I use it. And so what if I want to be alone? Because being alone allows me to break away from what you may bring my way, what you're trying to do to me, when I know you're trying to make me look some type of way. So guess what? I will have to be away from you. I have to draw myself away from that negative and stay in the positive that's in me. And that's the path you have to lead. Because a lot of people would try to trigger you out. And on that figuring you out, they're going to try to trigger you out. Trigger you, make quick trigger moments that's going to make you say this, make you do that. And you got to be ready to say, no, that is not me. And then once you begin to notice all these things that they're going to try to trigger to change you, to make it seem like they are controlling you, but yet they are exposing what you need to know so that you can go to the next level of growth. because you done showed me something that may be on the next path for me. And if I handle it correctly here, when I get to the next person, they won't even have the time to touch me because I'm going to be well prepared by the lesson you've given me by dealing with you. So being passive and having a childlike attitude, those are two things that people will try you on. The third thing is your financial. Because without finance, I can't move on. And that's part of what they do, making you seem passive, making you seem childlike. So people say, oh, I don't want to work with her. She's a child. I don't want to work with him. He's a child. But there's nothing wrong with them. They still have the innocence in them. They were able to live their innocent life or express themselves in an innocent way. What's wrong with that? A child. If you come in the office and seeing your boss playing in the corner with the toys, then I got to question that. When we supposed to be in a meeting. You know what I'm saying? Do you understand the difference of the two? Because the child plays with toys, right? Especially during an office meeting. Or during lunch, you're going to bring all your toys to the table and start to play with it. Nah, we probably have a theme somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Or you have your Halloween mask or whatever, and you have it around for a minute until what? Until Halloween is over. Then you get a new theme. Or you may keep the mask, it depends. Where you have it, how you handle other people's space, and how they handle your space, and how you know how you have to react because you don't want to trigger people to think a certain way about you, and then you don't want to be triggered to have something come out a certain different way about you. And that's the path that you will be on. And that's what makes you a better person. And that's going to allow you to grow mentally, physically, and emotionally. Your financial part is, if I would allow them to make me look passive, my boss would have questioned my capabilities. If I would have never went to my boss and explained the situation, because they can always think that you can go to one place, but there's something else probably higher that you can go, or lower that you can go, because it's a chain of command. But even with chain of commands, because I've been at jobs where I have chain of commands, and I never had to go there if I handled the situation correctly. Over time, you just want to go there if you desperately need to go there. That's my last straw. Because that shows the responsibility in you. That I'm well capable of handling this situation. So I just want you to be aware of the path that you're on. And when you see these things, it's going to come easy to you. You're going to see other things. That's why you have to be solo on your walk. Because if I'm with people, I may be in a conversation with somebody and I never get to see how this person is reacting. But if I'm by myself, I'm always having interaction with the one who's trying to come against me. I'm opening the door. Come on, bring it on. And allow me to see what's going on. But if I have a third party in the middle, I will never see, because they'll be with that person, and then I have to hear what they have to say rather than how I feel. But if I'm just dealing with them, that third party is nowhere in the way. I'm not going on their understanding. I know how I feel. Because that third party may not know. They think they know me, but they don't know me. So that's why you have to be solo. And then you will begin to see other things. And that's how I was able to see that quickly, because I began to notice people. And then I begin to pick up on vibes. And then not just vibes, I start to watch your actions. I know what you're saying. I know you're saying you all this person and you can do this. You're great with the kids and you're great with school and you're doing all this. But when we're alone, you start to act like I'm a passive individual, like I'm a child. Why is that so important to you? Like you're trying to take away my income. Why them three strikes? That is important in my path are concerned of you, that you're trying to use it against me. And I see you going in other people's ears and the other people listening to what you say, because you're very well equipped at the words you need to use. And then I have to question the people who are listening to you, because then they can be easily broken down. And once you show me that they're easily broken down, that allows me to know who I can trust even more. Don't hate. Don't hate when you get to learn these things. Use them to your ability. That's going to help you to grow and get path. You want to get on the path. And then you're going to get past what's going on. And I know a lot of you've been there, even in school. You're going through with this person saying this about you, and you're so worried about that. So what? I'm so low. So what? I'm about myself. I'm eventually find somebody just like me. You're not the only individual like you. Trust me, you're not. There's somebody just like you, well equal to you. But you're just going to have to give it time and patience. And don't go for the first one or the second one that seemed to, you have to learn how they react to certain situations and how you would react. Would you react the same way? Or why, you have to question why all of a sudden you want to be my friend. You ain't got to ask them, just watch them and watch what they do. And what they do when they're not around you is most important. That's the key. What they do and say about you when they're not around you. And that level that you're on will allow you to know what they're saying, because it's going to come to you. It's this human nature. It's of the universe to make sure you get the feedback. Because when I'm in a quiet room and it's peaceful, I can also hear the waves and voices that come. And that's how I know what was being said about me. Just be quiet. That's why you're by yourself. If I was talking to somebody, I won't be able to hear what you just said in the next room about me. But I'm smiling with you every day. I'm all in your face every day. You will never know, because you're at that level. You will never know that I know how you feel. Not through my actions, but it was meant for me to know, because I am at peace. And that's what keeps me at peace, that I'm able to know. And that's what's going to make you be able to fight off what they're trying to do to you. If they succeed, then what was for you was never yours to be. There's something better for you. There's a better place, a better space, a better office. But if it's the true place that it was in the beginning, it will be the true place that it is in the end. You will win. You will be the one everybody will be like, I believe her. And honestly, true, you don't even have to go there. That's what I'm trying to teach you. You don't have to be still about it. Learn what you have to learn. Deal what you have to deal with, because you're going to have to deal with things in life. Don't let them stop what's going on in school. Don't let them change the situation at the office, in the self-employment. You're gonna learn a lot of things. People gonna think they being taken advantage of you, and you're not doing this and you're not doing that. Everything takes time for perfection. Let's say that again. Everything takes time for perfection. And if I need to grow at perfection, it's because I'm growing at a different level. But if I'm growing at a different level, somebody got to come down at that level. Somebody's going to fall, but it won't be you. If you continue on your path and not let others think that you're a passive individual. And don't let them get you out of character, because if I get you out of character, everybody's going to believe everything I said about you. That you're messy. You're no good. Oh, you're just a thug. Yeah, I've been around thugs, but I ain't no thugs, because they had to learn from you, because you was the right one. Because if it would have been anybody else, they would have never learned. And don't get mad at me, nor take me down because of where I've been. I am a prize to where I am because of where I've been. I can notice this quickly more than you, that I was sent on that path. And it didn't change because the innocence is still in me. That part. So you go out, you have a great day, and enjoy. And enjoy the path and know your path. And no matter what you go through, do not change being you. Now go out there and be yes and